I don't know how to turn the comments on so I can figure that out. That makes things so complicated nowadays. But all right, it's almost as if he don't want you to do it. But anyway, um, I find funny is some things are switched around. How funny it is when it's the other way around. Like growing up as a kid, I was exposed to you know news. I turn on the news in the morning in my room, watch it before school. I was like as young as 5 and 6. And I remember early on I learned urban, inner city, and low income was always supposed to mean black. But there was no category for me. I was an upper middle class kid that was going to private school then, a Presbyterian school, all black Presbyterian school, and going there with the sons of and daughters of doctors and lawyers and prominent people, you know, and as a kid, it kind of subconsciously you foster an idea of inferiority in what you're exposed to on TV. Jive turkey motherfucker. This is back in like the 70s and not the 70s. I wasn't even conceived yet. I was born in 1980s. The 80s and the 90s. Jive turkey motherfucker. Them days. You know what I mean? Or I don't know anybody acting like this. You know, I mean, I go visit, people in the hood and all kind of shit, and it ain't like that. I mean, there's a certain way we are about us. You know what I'm saying? But not that shit. Anyway, so you're exposed to a crocodile Dundee. Dude in the alleyway pulled out the little switchblade. He pulled out this big ass knife. Black weak, white strong. Christopher Walken. One of my favorite fucking movies too. King of New York. Christopher Walken's on the subway about to get robbed by the little, by the brothers on the subway train. Then he, what I'm saying, throwing some money and shit and had a gun out. Black weak, white strong. You know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. I mean, and of course, when I get around my own black media, I'm seeing, Meteor Man, the black superhero and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But I know this is only our world. This is our section. Hip hop comes out. You know what I'm saying? There's a long history behind all of this shit too. Oh, it'll be gone in 5 years. That's the highest grossing musical genre in the world, most popular genre in the world. All of that shit. Pop music. Michael Jackson. He started that shit. Michael Jackson and Prince. Pop music is a fucking offshoot of like disco music and R&B. We got to stop lying to ourselves. Rock and roll was the first hip hop, made back in like the late 40s and early 50s, pioneered by guys like, Chuck Berry. And before him, there were guys, you know, and it got outlawed first, I believe, in Santa Cruz, California, 1956, and in 58. So anyway, whatever we do, it's always supposed to be looked at as inferior or whatnot. And you've been garnered and fostered with this all through your life. Majority of the superheroes is this, that, and the third. Majority of the people you see on TV is black. You're just seeing bad shit about us. Cops. That was all fucked up about us. Now what cops is intervention. But I'm going to get to that. And so I've developed this, sense of inferiority until I got to about the third grade. And I started winning the spelling bees. And then I'm like, okay, they're not just automatically smarter than you. Made it up to about like, maybe like the regionals. I ain't make it all the way to like regionals, but I mean, at least made it like out of my school. And then I just kind of lost interest after a while. And then I remember being in like the fourth grade, and we were just talking about all of the presidents and shit, and I saw that none of them looked like me. I knew like, well, shit, I'll never be that one day. I'm glad I got proven wrong. You know, all kind of stuff. And then you got the crack epidemic. Then you got that shit being told to you, you're all gonna be dead or in jail by the time you're 21. CNN is telling you you're gonna be dead in no time. I'm fucking 42 now. I'm gonna double that. More than majority of us did. It was a small minority of us that got killed off. On TV, they made it seem like we were dying off by the droves. Made it seem like we were, way things was looking. You would think that we would be the ones whose population is declining. The trap you set The trap your enemy set for you is the one that they fall in. For all of that being said, super predators, all of that shit. Now we fast forward to today. We got this dude RK. He made this little bullshit post about a little video about how he felt a certain kind of way about Batman. The new Batman movie, where the protagonist and his homeboy Alfred are the only two good white people in the entire movie. Everybody else that does anything good are the three black characters in the movie: Jim Gordon, Catwoman, and the other officer who's just he's an actor. I don't know who he is. I haven't seen the movie. I've just heard reviews. And how he was saying it's like it's putting a detrimental spin on things. And then I see Tucker Carlson. It's become just permitted to just talk bad about white men. You know how Tucker Carlson talks. Then I see the What's Killing America's White Men special. And they were talking about suicide rates in Montana, and the white guys on there was like, yeah, I'm a white guy born in the 60s. I'm used to seeing white people in charge, white men in charge. Now what does the future look like for me? Everything is becoming diversified as if that's a bad thing. Qualified white men aren't getting the job because somebody else has to fill up a diversity quota. Well, newsflash to you, white men, the highest beneficiary to affirmative action is indeed your white women. And then everybody else trickles down after that. Guess who's all the way fucking at the bottom that's getting the loose change that's left over? The black men. When they passed some civil rights back in the 60s, white women jumped in the front of those lines and grabbed those benefits. Then the sisters were next. Then with the sisters, they got a double whammy. They got a 2-for-1 minority. White women somehow were able to claim themselves as minority, even though women outnumber men, and whites are supposed to be the majority class. So what the fuck does minority really mean? So, all right, if it's not about population and everything, think about that. So, and the thing, and so I'm hearing all of this, and then, you hear just different places, especially like the right, and then, the guys in Charlottesville. Of course, the Hebrew community jumped out in front and said they were saying Jews will not replace us because you got to make everything anti-Semitic because we got to always play the violin for the protected class, and everything is always about them, even when you ain't even saying shit. Whoopi Goldberg says that, well, the Holocaust wasn't about race. Like if you can't identify these people just off of looks. You have to find out their name and their family history, and then pin, like you have to mark them to, you know what I'm saying? You didn't have to, distinguish black from white in America. The Klan didn't have to go, are you black? You know what I'm saying? So yes, it was not about fucking race. But we supposed to get over fucking Joe Rogan, like calling us Planet of the Apes, just equating black people to Planet of the Apes. And that's what we supposed to just get the fuck over. But anyway, I thought they were saying you will not replace us. So, all of that being said, they're painting this picture of like white men are under attack or white people are under attack. And if you keep portraying us like this on TV and portraying us like this in front of our kids, what are they going to think of themselves in the future? Try me a fucking river. Now we can't teach about the truth. Now we can't teach about, what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say critical race theory because that shit right there is just, it's just become this whole another monster. Like they slandered the Black Lives Matter, like the Black Lives Matter slogan. They turned that shit into Black Lives Matter only. And black people are like, no, we mean Black Lives Matter too. Black Lives Matter also. And with anything that makes sense, it has to be slandered and just gaslighted, or whatever the proper terminology is. So I'm just assuming gaslit, to where it just makes no sense and it just means the exact opposite of what was being said. Well, I can't say white power, so how could you say black power? Because white power means something completely fucking different when you say it. It means white superiority. It means white dominance. When I say black power, that means black inclusion. That means black exercise of strength. That's it. And so, again, when it was crack and it was us on TV, bad boys are what they're going to do. They showing, they showing us looking stupid on fucking TV. Comes around in daytime, finds out they kids is fucking dying off of these overdoses and shit. The highest overdose rates are between the ages of 18 and 20 fucking 5. And your people is dying off. Now it's a national emergency. Now we need to do something about it. Now we need to have fucking intervention. How convenient that works. And that's where the animosity comes in at. It's like that same, that same sensitivity isn't shown. You know, we can show two teams. One deserves to defend himself with a high-powered assault rifle. The other deserved to get killed because he was walking in the wrong neighborhood with a bag of Skittles in his hand. You know? One little 12-year-old deserves to be shot playing with a toy gun at a park. Oh, well, because he's 195 pounds. Look how fucking big he is. While another little 12-year-old can have a shootout with the police with another goddamn delinquent that's about 15. Shootout with the police with high-powered assault rifles and fucking shotguns and all of that. And you see the cops like, no, I don't want to do this. And they humanize him. Well, he came from a tough home, and she was probably molested, and they've been in the foster system, and somebody please adopt them. And you got little like I said, little young Tamir, they pulled up. They didn't even fucking, you know what I'm saying? That video was like a snippet. Like, that shit was shorter than a fucking TikTok. It was a GIF. Pulling up, bang, 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 dead. Okay, story's over with. There's not that same compassion. So now, when it's time for me to have to feel sympathy for the other side, it's just like, shit, I got just as much sympathy that you have for me, or you have for my kind. Then that face like, you racist motherfucker. Suck my balls. And that's where we are now. And now, books about Rosa Parks. She's a grown woman now, grandmother probably. The girl who was trying to go into school at the segregation, and they got the fucking National Guard out there, and them fucking grown-up is yelling at that child about integrating schools. And now you don't want to teach about race. Now we just want to start off from Barack Obama being president. America has never been a racist country. Well, slavery was a joint effort into building a country. It wasn't slavery. They were well fed and treated good and housed. Then when you talk about your history, Washington crossed the Delaware, and it's all brave and heroic and shit. The Pilgrims came across, and they were escaping religious persecution. Then they were escaping, they were trying to build a new settlement and start a new life because life in England was so fucking bad and all of that. Then you come to find out America was a fucking penal colony. Y'all sent y'all prisoners here. No wonder they acted so savagely once they arrived. Same thing with Australia. You found a male and a female fucking felon, a criminal, put them together, automatically marry them, give them a fucking few livestock, a pig and a cow and a sheep, put them on a fucking boat, put hundreds of them on a boat, pack them in there like sardines, and sent their asses out into the water. And guess where the fuck they can't? Guess where they arrived at landfall at? And so then when you're told shit, and then I know who I really am. You know what I'm saying? When you're told shit, it's like, oh, if you don't like it, you can leave. Motherfucker, I've always been here. So when you're telling me to go back to Africa, that shit is that's not where I'm from. No roots is a lie. But this is what we have to deal with. It's like, help me do this, help me do this, help me with mine. When it's time for me to help you, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I saw this GIF, it was this meme of a brother, and he got shackles and chains and shit on, and he's helping this white dude get up over this obstacle. White dude stepping all on him and shit. He gets him up. White dude stepped on top of his head and every fucking thing, and climbed up on top of that and got up on top of that wall. And the brother's sitting down there with his hand up, like, hey, you gonna help me out now? The white man looked down at him and said, you can get yourself up here by yourself just like I did. Nobody helped me. You just pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Gotcha. We've been getting fooled by that shit time and time again. It's all for one. Until it's time to help us. So yeah, we got to do for self. Still help you out with yours. It doesn't matter what we do, we still end up being better. Still end up being the most popular. Still end up being the ones that everybody look to for an example of, what did black people do? There's even a fucking Black Panthers over in Israel. None of them are black. It's the Ashkenazi Jews calling themselves the Black Panthers, and the dude said we modeled ourselves after the American Black Panther Party because they ain't taking that shit. So we started ours, and they liberated themselves over there from up under the oppressive European Jews. That's the story we don't hear about, or Israeli, because I can't say that buzzword. I might get fucking arrested. But anyway, this is, and when you know, it's like black people are so obsessed with race. Don't you think? Don't you know we the first motherfuckers that want to get over this shit? But it's an unresolved issue, and it just keeps going on. You know, how the fuck is this won't ever gonna heal? If on top of one, if for one, you're only just throwing a Band-Aid on the shit, and then you keep cutting it more and more and more. Then throwing alcohol and fucking salt on the wound. You're telling us, hey, you tell us to get over slavery, but you celebrate that shit with the fucking Civil War reenactment. Make up your goddamn mind. Is everybody supposed to get over it or what? No. You're supposed to get over it. All right, well. Then I know the shit about the slavery too. You know, but it's just a long line of bullshit. You know, then you find out that there's 2,800 hate crimes that happen against black people every year. Then Asian people had a bad month, and then we're getting the Asian hate crime bill, and the black people are like, the fuck? And then they showing on TV that it looked like you. And out of all of that shit, they only showed me fucking 30 people that were black that did out of these 280 something, you know what I'm saying, hate crimes that was last summer that was like Asian, kill all Asian summer or some shit. I don't know what the fuck was going on. I mean, I got along great, I didn't know we were having a race war with the Asians. I had no idea. Nor did anybody I'm around have any idea about that shit. But this is what it is. I actually had somebody tell me like to take accountability for that shit one time. Like you people can't get along with anybody. Look what you're doing to the Asians. And I'm sitting there like, okay, let me get this right. I'm supposed to take accountability for that. Chicago, shit that's happening in Africa and everything. Well, what about you take the event? What's going on with them Europeans over there in Ukraine and Russia? Oh man, they ain't got nothing to do with me. I ain't over there. I'm not over there. You can't just lump all white people together. Oh, what's up with the opioid epidemic? What's up with y'all population dying off? What's up with a whole bunch of shit that y'all got going on? Y'all looking kind of fucked up right now. I'm an individual. You can't make me take event. You know what I'm saying? That's the bullshit we be talking about. How the fuck do black people only make up 25% of the crime, all crime in the United States? Don't give me that bullshit ass, what about violent crime? That's a whole nother ball of wax in itself. It's not even 25. It's like 22%. 22% of crime. Again, we make up 25% of the economic engine as well. So are we 13% for real, or are we really 25%? But on the contrary of that, we make up 33% of the prison population. And Caucasians do about 73% of all crime in the United States. All crime. From car thefts to rapes to fucking child abuse to having fucking illegal guns. They 3 to 4 times more likely to have fucking drugs in the car, all kind of shit. I know what the real numbers are. But when you show TV, show crime, show me fucking Chicago. That's where it's hot at right now. Yeah, once upon a time it was LA. But we're not talking about what's going on in the fucking trailer parks of Florida and Arkansas and shit like that. We're not talking about you making up 69% of the whole fucking entitlement program, welfare, food stamp, fucking housing and all of that shit. But when you show fucking unemployment and show fucking poor people, you show us. You're taking up a lion's share of you the ones drying this country up. Y'all the ones that burnt that shit down last year with dressed up as Black Lives Matter members and anti-fucking-Tifa. There's 83% of the Black Lives Matter membership is fucking white folks. And then the rest, and then what's weird is black people still make up fucking 13% of that group. So when all of that shit was getting burnt down last year, oh man, they burning down their own community. No, they're not. Well, you know what? You might be right because they was burning down like Targets and shit like that. They don't own. We don't own Target. So you right. They did burn down their own shit. They burnt down some corporation shit, broke in stores, ran up in Walmarts and all of that. You're absolutely right. White people tore their own shit up, but this is not the narrative that's given. And you can see this shit with your own eyes. When you see right after George Floyd gets killed, the umbrella man going busting out windows and shit. Clear as fucking day, a white man. He's dressed up like a fucking ninja. You can see his eyes. His eyes are fuck. You know, like this the skin and shit is pink around here or whatever the fuck color it really is because it's not white and I'm not black. My hair is black. My skin isn't. Your skin isn't white. It's like a pink kind of color, I think. You know, I don't. You know, that's weird to me. Like, I remember in school, you know, white kids be touching their skin, leaving fingerprints behind and shit. They be like white and like the skin be red or whatever the fuck the fingerprint thing was. I used to be kind of jealous of it at first. I used to be like, oh man, I'm always the fucking same color no matter what I do. But yeah, and this is what we have to deal with, you know. And then we have to hear that sob story shit on the other side. And it's like y'all want to be victims so goddamn bad, but it is what it is, man. You know that little rant right there. It's just funny to see it the other way around. Like I'm enjoying this shit, front row seat. You know, I create like I remember the last time I was in court, which was last year. I took a charge for somebody that I cared about, and I didn't want them to ruin their life. You know, it was a girl I was dealing with. But anyway, and I'm in there, and there's a guy in there. He's my age, but he's a professional. You know, executive or what the fuck ever. He got nice business casual wear on, and I'm looking at him like, what the fuck you in court for? I know, like you in the thug section. What the hell? Oh yeah, you know my son. You know what I'm saying? He got himself in some trouble. Went to a house party, got drunk, or started beating motherfuckers up or something. I don't know what the fuck happened. It was like drugs and violence was involved. And I was like, God damn. Like, I'm looking at him and like, he's like, you know, and I couldn't help but laugh. I said, you know what's funny about this? I said, like, man, you know, as you can see, shit, you know, I'm in here for what I'm in here for. And, you know, I've gotten a criminal past. Like, I sold crack and everything to feed my daughter early on, you know. I mean, I didn't have to, but the economic chances that I had at that economic prospects that was going on in like 2000 or 2001, shit wasn't looking too good. We were still dealing with Son Bush, with that fucked up ass economy then, 9/11 and all that shit has happened. I'm not justifying it, but, you know, it is what it is. And I looked at it, and I said, you know, I did all of this. And I said, my daughter is going to Winston-Salem State University on a, you know, academic scholarship. And I'm like, and here you are, you know, you lived your life, you know, straight and narrow. I'm sure you went to college and everything. Raised that boy the right way, try to make an example for him to follow. But I said, look at how this turned out. The irony of life, right? And he sat there and he was like, damn, that's actually kind of deep and profound, the way you just kind of joking about it. I was like, yeah, I mean, but you know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, what we do doesn't determine the kind of people that we are, nor the kind of people that we produce. And I thought that was interesting. And that's a good note to end it on, you know. Huh. Either way, I was in there by choice. And he was in there out of necessity to make sure that his son didn't fuck his life all the way up. Hmm. Funny how the tables turn. And he has the laugh back. That's funny. Funny. It's sad. Didn't want it to be like that, but it's funny.